So you may have seen a new scientific paper or a video discussing said paper about how all life, or all complex life for that matter, may go extinct when Pangea Proxima forms, because the continents will all merge. It will slow down weathering, which will not be able to take enough CO2 out of the atmosphere. So basically, there's a greenhouse effect thing. And also the sun will increase slightly in luminosity. But don't worry, the sun isn't going to increase enough to render Earth uninhabitable for another billion years. This increasing CO2 concentration thing is what we need to worry about. Now, in the paper they said the average temperature on Earth will move to 45 degrees Celsius, and that only some places in polar regions will be still habitable. I think this is extremely unlikely unless we experience something similar to the Permian mass extinction, because if we look at the geologic temperature record, the last time there was a supercontinent, Pangea, the temperature was about 20 Celsius. Maybe on some parts it got up to 30 degrees Celsius, which is pretty fucking hot, but like not unbearably hot. If you apply a 25-degree mean temperature to Pangea Proxima and the elevation simulations we have, this is what you get for a Köppen climate map. It's approximate, and it's probably going to, and I would say that the tropics and deserts were probably bigger and the taigas smaller. But as you can see, taigas still exist, although just barely, on the verge of being pushed away from the poles. So basically, some creatures in the polar regions will have a fucking terrible time, but it's not going to wipe out all complex life, although it may wipe out all equatorial complex life. But there were still species alive on the equator when the last time it was this warm, so that might give us hope for the future. But if we return to our geologic temperature record, you can see that it's even unlikely to get to 25 degrees Celsius, and it will probably be more like 20 degrees Celsius. So I don't know where they got 45 degrees Celsius. I mean, presumably they ran a bunch of simulations, and it's much more accurate than I can hope. But it does have some pretty big assumptions. One, it assumes that the sun increases quite a bit in luminosity. Two, it assumes that there's a ridiculous amount of CO2 released. TLDR, just because one research group says something doesn't necessarily mean it's true, even if they put a lot of work into their paper. I still respect these people, and I think they put a lot of effort into their paper,